Are you ready to geek out to some weather? It is the aptly titled video weather for Weather Geeks on this Thursday evening, the 22nd of February, 2024. Another day that was a little more like April rather than February. Very spring-like pattern this week, and some April showers, if you will, out there today. Now, as of the issuance of the daily climate report, which the National Weather Service offices usually issue sometime between 5:15 and 5:30 p.m., as of that point, we had 0.52 in the gauge at the airport, but that number will surely change before the night is through. They'll update those numbers around midnight or so tonight. I think we'll probably end up with about 3/4 of an inch or so at the airport with today's rain. Other rain gauges across the area here at our downtown Youngstown studios, about 3/4 of an inch, but again, that's not the final number. Approaching an inch in one of those gauges down towards the Columbiana area, 0.57 Calcutta, and a good chunk of Trumbull, Mercer, and Lawrence counties also kind of in that half an inch to 3/4 of an inch range so far. But again, not the final numbers because we've got a little ways to go with the rain this evening. We'll have late rain for another couple of hours. The back edge, as of about 7:12 p.m., is back towards the I-71 corridor. That'll pivot through before the evening is through. This is actually a pretty prolific lightning producer, this storm, across not our area, but the areas in Ohio south of Interstate 70, Parkersburg, Marietta, Athens, over towards Morgantown, West Virginia, and even as far east as the nation's capital. We've had several lightning strikes over the last few hours. All right, did you catch this last evening? If you were lucky enough, right about 10 till 7 p.m., we had a pretty bright fireball meteor that was visible from around the Great Lakes all the way down towards Baltimore and Washington, including in our area. We had reports on social media from a lot of people who managed to see this last evening right before 7 o'clock. And yeah, just a reminder of our meteor terminology here. A fireball meteor is basically a really bright meteor. In fact, it gets so bright, even if it's just for a second or two, that it's brighter than the planet Venus in our sky. It gets really bright. This meteor, again, visible for many, many locations. This is nothing unusual. It had nothing to do, of course, with this morning's AT&T wireless service outage. Also impacted parts of the Verizon network as well. This had nothing to do with that. But these things are pretty common, but it depends on your sky condition. It just depends on a lot of different factors as to whether you're going to see a meteor or not. All right, next couple of days. Some changes coming our way. Now, this is still a pretty decent day, I think, on Friday. In the wake of our system, clouds will break for some sunshine on Friday. Temperatures in the upper 40s to around 50, with a gusty breeze developing ahead of a cold front that rolls through towards about sunset Friday evening. Now, in the wake of that front, yes, we have a colder day in store for Saturday. It'll be kind of like last Saturday, minus the persistent snow shower activity we had last Saturday. We won't have that this time around. Maybe a stray flurry in the morning, especially up towards the Cleveland area. But most of the day actually will turn bright and sunny on Saturday, but it won't do us a lot of good. We'll struggle to get out of the 20s with wind chills even lower. Here's a look at our cold front, still off to our north in the morning on Friday. Now, our in-house model here is trying to spin up a shower or two in the afternoon. Not buying that. I think that might occur down towards I-70 and points to the south. We're going to keep a dry forecast for Friday. In the wake of that front, though, yeah, clouds in the morning, breaking for plenty of afternoon sunshine Saturday, and then our warm front pushes in with a band of fair weather clouds for a time on Sunday. But, we'll be in the teens as Sunday gets underway, but we'll be in the 30s and 40s before you know it. A very rapid warm-up, a big diurnal temperature range coming our way on Sunday, as we should make a run at 50 before the day is through. That wind on Saturday is going to be frisky, so I mentioned those temperatures, struggling to get out of the 20s. The wind chill largely in the teens and lower 20s on our Saturday, but again, you'll need the sunglasses for much of the day as well. I want to talk about next week's potential outcomes for midweek. We're going to show you the European model here. Kind of an interesting midweek setup, and again, a setup a little more like springtime rather than the tail end of February. We're going to fast forward our model here to Tuesday. This is the surface map around midday Tuesday with a cold front out here. Really strong southwesterly flow out ahead of it, and I do think there will be showers and thunderstorms breaking out in this warm sector. Now, I don't think thunder is especially likely as far east as eastern Ohio and western PA on Tuesday, but I think there could be some thunder, certainly in Dayton and Cincinnati and places like that, Indianapolis. And then our cold front marches east, and our wettest period in eastern Ohio, western Pennsylvania, is probably Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. The front looks a little faster than yesterday's modeling. If this faster idea is right, then the front probably swings through during the first half of the day Wednesday, leading to falling temperatures later in the day and maybe some snow flurries overnight. This may come with a severe weather threat. Again, not necessarily in our area, but just off to our west. Here's a look at the European model lightning depiction. Let's back this up to Tuesday afternoon and evening. not going to be surprised if we have some heavy gusty storms in Chicago, Peoria, South Bend, Grand Rapids, places like that. An early season severe weather episode is going to be possible out here. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center has already started to highlight a couple of areas for possible severe weather with the system during midweek. If the current modeling is to be believed, as this translates east, the severe weather threat will wind down, and so by the time the front comes through here on Wednesday, there's probably no lightning left, and very, very minimal severe weather chances. But today's only Thursday, and I'm just showing you kind of one model suite here. We've got a lot of time to digest more model information and fine-tune that midweek forecast. But again, it's a system that looks a little more like an April or May system rather than a February system, and it will come with all the usual springtime threats, especially for our neighbors to the west. On Friday evening's Weather for Weather Geeks, so we'll talk about the weekend and beyond. We'll take a fresh look at the longer range since we didn't cover that too much this evening. That's coming up Friday evening. Hope to see you then. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your Thursday night.